Kanan Stark just turned his back on the one person who built him, his own mother, the woman who lied for him, killed for him, and sacrificed everything she had just to keep him alive. And he looked her dead in the eyes and walked away like she was nothing. But here is the thing that nobody is talking about. While Kanan is busy cutting off the person who actually loves him, he is getting closer and closer to a man who might be setting him up for the biggest betrayal of his entire life. Breeze, the legend, the Southside King, the man Kanan now trusts more than anyone else in this game. And every single person watching this show already knows how this story ends. We have seen the original power, we know what Kanan Stark becomes, we know the monster he turns into, but what we do not know yet is exactly what breaks him. What moment, what betrayal, what loss pushes him past the point of no return and turns him into the cold, ruthless killer from the original show. And I am telling you right now, Episode 3 of this final season might be the episode where that process truly begins, because the pieces are all on the board. Raq is gone from Southside and is fighting to survive in a whole new world. Jukebox is moving in the shadows and targeting a cop, which is a level of dangerous that even she has never touched before. And Kanan is walking deeper and deeper into a situation that Unique, his former enemy, literally warned him about. A man he dismissed, a man he laughed off. And that warning is sitting there like a ticking bomb, just waiting to go off. So before episode 3 drops tonight, let us break down every single thing that is coming, every prediction that makes sense based on what we have seen so far, and every twist that this show might be about to throw at us. Because if this final season keeps moving the way it has been moving, episode 3 is not just another episode, it is a turning point. And you do not want to miss a single second of this breakdown. To really understand what episode 3 is about to bring, you have to understand exactly where every major character is standing right now. Because this show has moved fast in the first 2 episodes. Really fast. And if you blink, you can miss just how dramatically the entire power structure of this story has shifted. So let us go through it piece by piece, character by character, and really feel the weight of where things are right now. Let us start with Kanan. Because Kanan's story is the heart of this entire show. Everything else orbits around him. And right now, Kanan is in a place we have never seen him before. He is not under his mother's shadow anymore. He is not trying to prove himself to Raq or playing by her rules. He has stepped fully into his own lane now, and that lane runs directly through Breeze. The two of them have built something real over these first 2 episodes. Their partnership started as something loose and uncertain in the premiere, but by the time episode 2 ended, it had become something much more defined. Kanan is now fully inside Breeze's world. He is sitting in rooms with the Mafia, with Snaps and Pop, with serious players who operate at a level that Kanan has never been exposed to before. And he loves it. You can see it in the way he carries himself now. There is a confidence there that was never quite that sharp before, but here is what makes this so dangerous and so fascinating at the same time. That confidence is built on a foundation that might not be as solid as Kanan thinks it is. Because in episode 2, Unique looked Kanan in the eyes and told him plainly, "Do not trust Breeze." That was not just a throwaway line. That was not a bitter man talking out of jealousy. Unique has been in this game longer than almost anyone. He knows how Breeze operates. He knows what Breeze is capable of, and Kanan brushed it off completely. He dismissed the warning like it meant nothing, and that moment, that one quiet, seemingly small moment, is one of the most important things that has happened in this entire season so far. Because in a show like this, the warnings that characters ignore are always the ones that come back to destroy them. Now, let us talk about Raq. Because Raq's situation is one of the most emotionally loaded storylines of this entire final season. This is a woman who spent years building her empire in Southside Queens. She fought for every inch of that territory. She went to war with Unique. She negotiated with the Italians. She managed her brothers. She protected Kanan, even when it meant doing things that were unforgivable. And now, all of it is gone. Stefano made it crystal clear in episode 2 that there is no place for Raq in Southside anymore. She is out. And for a woman like Raq, being pushed out of the neighborhood she built is not just a business loss. It is personal. It is humiliating. It cuts her at the deepest level. But here is what makes Raq such a compelling character. She does not break. She bends, she adapts, and she finds another way. So instead of sitting in her loss, she pivots. She goes to Manhattan, she sits down with Pino Bernardi, the head of the Manhattan Mafia, and with Flossie, a woman who runs an illegal escort operation and has deep connections with the NYPD, and just like that, Raq starts building again. She is not done, not even close. But this new world she is stepping into comes with a completely different set of rules and a completely different set of dangers. Flossie is not a soft character. She is smart, she is calculating, and she has her own agenda. And the NYPD connections that make Flossie valuable are also the same connections that could bury Raq if things go wrong. So, yes, Raq has found a new lane, but that lane is full of new landmines. And Marvin is right there beside her, still grieving Lulu, still burning with rage, and still searching for answers in all the wrong directions. Marvin genuinely believes Unique killed Lulu. He is wrong. And the truth, that Kanan pulled the trigger and Raq covered it up, is sitting just beneath the surface, waiting to explode. Marvin is not as blind as people think he is. He is perceptive. He pays attention, and the longer this season goes on, the more likely it becomes that Marvin starts putting pieces together that nobody wants him to find. There is something deeply unsettling about watching Kanan Stark smile. Not because the smile is fake, but because you already know what is waiting for him on the other side of it. You have seen the original power. You know the man Kanan eventually becomes. Cold, ruthless, disconnected from everyone and everything that ever mattered to him. And right now, in Season 5, you are watching that transformation happen in real time. You are watching the last version of Kanan that still has some warmth left in him, the last version that can still be reached. And he is spending that version of himself building an empire with a man that nobody around him fully trusts. That man is Breeze. And their partnership right now is the most exciting and the most dangerous thing happening in this entire final season. What makes the Kanan and Breeze dynamic so layered is that on the surface, everything looks perfect. These two men move well together. They think on similar levels. Breeze carries the kind of authority and street credibility that commands respect from everyone in the room. And Kanan brings an energy and a hunger that Breeze clearly values. When they walk into a room together, you feel the shift. The other players take notice. Snaps and Pop, who have been in this game for decades, are adjusting to the reality that Breeze and Kanan are not just participants in the Southside drug world anymore. They are becoming the center of it. And that rise has happened faster than almost anyone expected. In just 2 episodes, Kanan has gone from being Raq's son operating in her shadow to being a genuine force in his own right, standing next to the most talked about name in Queens. That is not a small thing. That is a massive shift in the story's power structure, and episode 3 is going to push that shift even further. But here is where it gets complicated. Here is where the story starts to quietly ask questions that Kanan is not asking himself. Breeze is a legend, yes. But legends in this world are not legends because they are loyal. They are legends because they are survivors. And survivors in the drug game survive by making cold, calculated decisions that serve their own interests above everything else. So the real question that this season is slowly building toward is not whether Kanan and Breeze can build something together. They clearly can. The question is, what happens when Breeze has to make a decision that puts his own survival against Kanan's well-being? Because that moment is coming. This show does not set up a partnership this significant without eventually testing it at the deepest level. And the test, when it comes, is going to hit Kanan in a way that he is completely unprepared for. Because right now, he is all in. He is not hedging. He is not watching his back with Breeze the way he should be. He has fully committed, and that kind of full commitment in this world is almost always the thing that gets people hurt. Think about what Unique said to him in episode 2. Unique, who has more experience dealing with Breeze than anyone currently in Kanan's circle, looked at him and said plainly, "Do not trust this man." And Kanan laughed it off. He genuinely did not take it seriously. And you understand why, because at that point Unique was a man on his way out, a man losing everything, a man who looked desperate and bitter. So from Kanan's perspective, of course Unique would try to poison the one alliance that was clearly working. It made sense to dismiss him. But the audience knows something Kanan does not know yet. The audience knows that desperate, bitter, losing men sometimes tell the purest truth because they have got nothing left to protect and nothing left to lose. Unique warned him not out of jealousy. Unique warned him because he has seen how Breeze operates up close. And that warning, sitting ignored and forgotten in episode 2, is going to grow louder and louder as this season moves forward. What episode 3 is likely going to show us is the next stage of the Kanan and Breeze operation taking real shape. The business will grow, the money will start moving more seriously, the reach will extend beyond what Kanan has ever been part of before. And on the surface, it is going to look like everything is working. It is going to look like Kanan finally made the right call. But underneath that, if you are watching carefully, you are going to start seeing the small things. The moments where Breeze makes a decision without consulting Kanan. The moments where Breeze's loyalty to his own vision takes quiet priority over the partnership. The moments where Kanan is being positioned rather than partnered with. And those small things, stacked on top of each other over the remaining episodes, are going to build into something that eventually cannot be ignored. Because that is how this show works. It does not announce betrayal. It builds it slowly, quietly, one small moment at a time, until suddenly you are looking at something that was always there and you just could not see it clearly until it was too late. And here is the piece of this story that makes it truly heartbreaking when you sit with it. Kanan just cut off his mother. He has declared Raq dead to him. He has walked away from the one person in his life who, for all her lies and manipulation, genuinely loved him in the only way she knew how. And the very moment he does that, the very moment he creates that massive hole in his life where his closest relationship used to be, he fills it with Breeze. He transfers that trust, that loyalty, that need for a powerful figure to stand beside directly onto a man whose true intentions are still not fully clear. So if Breeze eventually does betray him, it will not just be a business loss for Kanan. It will be the second devastating betrayal of this final season, coming right after the fracture with Raq. And 2 betrayals of that size, back to back, from the 2 people he chose to be closest to. That is the kind of damage that does not heal. That is the kind of damage that turns a person into someone else entirely. That is the kind of damage that creates the Kanan Stark we see in the original Power. Cold, closed off, trusting nobody. And right now, in episode 3, we are watching that story write itself one scene at a time.